Most baseball players spend their entire careers doing one thing really well, avoiding this.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Because getting hit by baseballs hurts, and every player knows it. So hitters duck. They bail out during the biggest at-bats of their careers. They get fooled. All to avoid getting hit. But not every player ever thought this way. Not Huey Jennings, at least. Huey played shortstop and first base from 1891 to 1903. He had a great career, but he wasn't a superstar by any means. He finished with a .312 batting average, played in over 1,200 games, and collected 1,500 hits in that time. Solid numbers, Hall of Fame worthy even, but what really separates Huey from the Hall of Famers of his era, guys like Cobb, Wagner, and Cy Young, is a record that he has that no one will ever break. The all-time MLB record for most hit by pitches. 287 doesn't tell you how ridiculous it is because raw totals lie. They reward longevity, they reward modern schedules, they reward players who simply had more chances. So instead of totals, let's look at the rate. To get hitters hit by pitch rate, I did basic math, taking their total career plate appearances and dividing it by their total career hit by pitches, giving what I would consider a fair hit by pitch rate. Looking at today's leaders in this category, the only true superstars are Freddie Freeman and Mike Trout, but Mark Cannon and Ty France are the best active examples of players with a high hit by pitch rate. Switching over to the all-time MLB hit by pitch leaders, Craig Biggio is second all-time with 285 hit by pitches, which is basically tied with Huey Jennings.
Baseball, as he did last night.
And Biggio now owns the record all to himself.
Except Biggio needed 6,856 more plate appearances to get there and still fell too short. Anthony Rizzo is one of the best recent examples of a player usually getting hit by a pitch as part of his game, finishing 8th on the all-time hit by pitch leaderboard. And then there was Ron Hunt. In 1971, Hunt was hit by a pitch 50 times in a single season, briefly becoming the all-time single-season record holder.
I didn't even know the record existed. It was just a way that I could bother the pitcher, get on base, do my job, and it added a little offense to my offensive abilities.
Although Biggio and Hunt's accomplishments are modern-day records, they are not all-time MLB records because it was later discovered by baseball historians that Huey was hit by 2 extra pitches in his 1896 season, therefore making Huey the all-time single-season hit-by-pitch leader once again with 51. While researching for this video, I came across a 1972 baseball research journal that had a section titled Renewed Interest in Hit-by-Pitch Records, which states Hugh Jennings of the old Baltimore Orioles was reportedly hit by pitches 49 times in 1896, which was the old-time mark, showing at the time Hunt's feat was considered a new all-time record, meaning in the year following Hunt's 71 season, stat keepers were still unaware that Jennings was hit by 2 extra pitches in 1896. However, I was unable to find a date that Jennings was officially renamed the record holder again. Now, just for the sake of comparison, let's see how the modern-day active players stack up against the all-time greats at getting hit by pitches. They're clustered together, different eras, different rules, different equipment. And then, there's Huey Jennings as always. Not close, not comparable, all alone. Of course, this play style didn't come without its injuries. In 1897, pitcher Amos Ruzzi faked a pickoff attempt to first, quick pitched Huey Jennings, drilling him near the temple. According to one account, Jennings somehow finished the game only to later fall unconscious for 3 days as the severity of the injury set in. After an injury like that, you'd think Jennings would be afraid of getting hit. No, he kept crowding the plate, daring pitchers to come inside. The very next season, in 1898, Jennings was hit by pitches 46 times, once again leading the league and earning the title of Hit by Pitch King for the 4th consecutive year. Beyond the diamond, Huey's life of danger didn't change. While attending Cornell University, Jennings fractured his skull yet again, this time after diving headfirst into a swimming pool at night with no water in it. A few years later, he survived another near-death experience when his car skid and flipped off a bridge into the Lehigh River, leaving him with his 3rd fractured skull, a concussion, a broken left arm, and both legs. Getting back to baseball, after retiring in 1903 with 284 hit by pitches, Hugh Jennings rejoined professional baseball, not as a player, but as a manager. From 1907 to 1920, Jennings led the Detroit Tigers, overseeing one of the most talented rosters of the era, winning 3 consecutive American League pennants in 1907, 1908, and 1909. but his teams fell short in the World Series each year. Although officially retired as a player, Huey occasionally filled in whenever he was needed, tacking on 9 more plate appearances and a couple of defensive innings. Before Jennings could finally say goodbye to baseball, he joined the 1921 New York Giants coaching staff, reuniting with his former teammate and friend John McGraw. In 1921, the Giants won the World Series in which was the last ever of the MLB's experimental best-of-5 of 9 series. They then beat the Yankees again in 1922 in a classic best-of-7 series, successfully going back-to-back.
The Yankee lose! Let's go!
Unfortunately, Huey's baseball career doesn't exactly have a happy ending. After having to step up as the acting manager when John McGraw became seriously ill during the 1925 season, the stress of running the team during a pennant race, combined with his deteriorating health, was too much. After the season, Jennings suffered what newspapers of the time described as a nervous breakdown. He was unable to report to spring training in 1926. To close out this video, I'd like to look at an article from 2015 where Jonah Carey did a deep dive on just how absurd Ron Hunt's 1971 season really was. 538 looked at every qualified season since 1900, more than 11,000 players' seasons taken into consideration. And Ron Hunt, he's not just an outlier, he's on an island by himself, putting him 13 standard deviations above average. If you're not a math expert, as Jonah puts it, there's nothing ostensibly in our everyday life that could ever be anywhere close to 13 standard deviations above the norm. Not an 8-foot-tall man, not a 700-pound human, not a 200 IQ brain. And there's a gap that makes it even crazier. Hunt was hit 50 times. Second place that year, Don Baylor with 35. That's a 43% gap. Pick your favorite unbreakable record, and Hunt's dominance dwarfs it. Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak, Pete Rose came closer. Cy Young's 511 wins, Walter Johnson came closer. Bonds' 73 home runs in 01, nope. Hack Wilson's 191 RBIs in 1930, nope. You could argue that in modern baseball history, no player has ever lapped the field in one category the way Ron Hunt did in 1971. But what if the study didn't cut off at 1900? Because in 1896, Jennings was hit 51 times, and he did it in just 602 plate appearances, leading the league by 29 hit by pitches. I know a lot of these stories and statistics could be argued, but all I'm saying is if true, Huey Jennings might have the most interesting record in MLB history.